have been my go-to LED contact poi for nearly 3 years, and now their successor has arrived. Orb Poi have gotten an upgrade. Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain, and today I'm sharing my thoughts on the new Orb Poi Pros. Before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterra Light Toys, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all of these amazing businesses and what they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I have down in the description of this video. And special thanks to non-business friends of the channel, Johnny Howard, Lain Mochinsky, and Pekha Pekkonen. Thank you so very much for your support for my work and my mission. Y'all remember back to the halcyon days of 2019? You know, in the before times? Ultrapoi had just come out with a new LED contact poi that was an absolute game changer. They were comfortable, well-designed, affordable, and one of the few LED contact poi options on the market that were engineered as an end-to-end solution. And they quickly became my go-to LED contact poi. Not only did I use them frequently for both professional and personal use, they also became the poi featured in my first regular sponsored videos too. They definitely weren't a perfect product, but for what was available at the time, they were pretty awesome. Now, a second generation version of this product has been released, and I was stoked to find out both what they kept the same and what they changed, and whether they were worth the upgrade. Spoilers, the answer is yes, but we'll get there. I'm going to use my usual review rubric here, talking about the poi features, ease of use, brightness, durability, battery life, and sharing some personal thoughts before we go over price. So first up, let's talk features. Like the previous generation of Orb Poi, these come with 97mm silicone heads that have a hollow center through which a cartridge containing a battery, chip, and LEDs is placed. The different LED modes are turned on and navigated through the use of a single button interface. This cartridge connects via a length of rope to the company's Ultra knob handles, which also feature LEDs inside of them and also features a single button interface. Both the heads and the handles recharge via micro USB. So what's different? Well, first up, the cartridges in the head feature completely different batteries and chips. There's now a much bigger battery and much brighter LEDs present. There's also been a change in the type of rope these poi use. Where before we got 3/8 inch black braided nylon ropes, these new ropes are 3/8 inch hybrid ropes with this kind of cool little winding strip going along their length. In addition to the change in hardware for the LEDs in the heads, there's also been a change in software. Like the Helix Poi Pros I reviewed a few months ago, the Orb Poi Pros now come with second generation firmware that includes 7 unique color modes and an additional 7 color fade modes, with an additional 15th mode that autoplays all the previous modes in order. Each mode comes with 3 unique flash patterns ranging from a strobe to a solid display pattern. This second generation software also includes a custom color mode that is accessible by holding down the button when turned off until the LEDs flash orange. And then you'll gain access to 13 individual unique colors that you can program into mode 14 in any order of 3 that you like, in addition to the 2 other unique color fades. Okay, so let's talk ease of use. If you've watched my review on the previous generation of Orb Poi, then you'll know that I consider the navigation of modes in them to be my gold standard for ease of use in navigating modes in LED contact poi. I'm happy to report that this new version of the software retains what I think was the most essential feature: easy to access basic modes with an intuitive approach to changing their strobe patterns. Not much has changed here, and that's really for the better. Programming the custom color modes is a little different though. I'll be real with you all, I almost never use this feature, even though it gives me access to colors that are important to my brand, and I tend to forget and then have to look back up how to use it every time I do. All that said, if you're just looking for basic colors and color fades, accessing them couldn't be easier. And just as another quick note, this also means that there are colors accessible in the heads that are not accessible in the handles, because they're on the old version of the firmware and LEDs. For most of the colors that I like to use, that's not a big deal, but it might factor into how you use them. There is one weird thing that's popped up a few times with these, and that's that I've seen them get accidentally turned on or changed modes after taking a bit of a blow. This is weird because you're meant to have to push the button twice to turn them on or to switch modes, and I can't tell if there's a short circuit somewhere or the button is just way more sensitive than I'm aware of. Not the end of the world by any means, but it is a little odd, and I never noticed it happening in the last generation of this product. One thing I do want to highlight here that might not seem like such a big deal, but that I've really grown to appreciate since I got these, is that Ultrapoi changed part of how the cartridges are housed in the heads, so that now they're way easier to remove for charging. Remember how hard you used to have to push the old cartridges either with the rope or with your thumb to get them out of the heads? So much easier now. So if there's going to be one big improvement made to these second generation Orb Poi that a lot of people are going to be excited about, it's this: brightness. The bigger battery and additional LEDs have made these Poi vastly brighter. I can see them relatively clearly during the day, and goodness, but do they pop at night. If this was something you didn't like about the previous generation of this product, this is probably the biggest and most obvious way that this generation is improved. Now let's talk about durability. I used my last set of Orb Poi almost constantly for nearly 3 solid years. They are bomb-proof, or at the very least, Drex-proof. I have dropped them from great heights and subjected them to every manner of extreme flow that I am capable of, and never had any problems whatsoever with them. I'd be shocked if this generation handled much differently. I've used them every day since I got them, and to the best of my perception, they are taking all my abuse as much champs as the set I've had for years. No complaints, no notes. And what about battery life? So if there's anywhere this revision to the product comes up short, it's here. A lot of care has been spent making these Poi vastly brighter, and this came at the expense of battery life. I usually run 2 tests on every set of LED Poi that I review. A first test to punish the battery as hard as I can by setting the color mode to white and turning up the brightness as high as it'll go and letting them go until the battery is dead. Then a second test to gauge how a more common use case might look. I do this by setting the Poi to a rainbow color fade and seeing how long they stay on. For my solid white test, I got about an hour's worth of life out of these heads. For my rainbow strobe, an hour and a half. That is less than half the battery life of the previous generation for this product. And it's also kind of a bummer because it means that the battery life for the heads is shorter than it is for the handles. That feels real weird to me. I don't know if it does to all of you, but the handles have much smaller batteries and last a longer time. I don't know. Next up, how do they feel? I loved the feel of the first generation Orb Poi, and I love the feel of this new generation. By default, they come with longer ropes than the previous generation Orb Poi, so I did have to cut mine down by about 1 inch, but once I did, they were so comfortable that I've found myself using them constantly, even during the daytime. I really wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the ropes, and I was surprised by how much I wound up liking them. Not just because they're more visible now, but also because they feel super solid and durable. This is also one thing to flag for those of you at the beginning of your flow journey though. There's a trade-off with rope wherein the more durable it is, the more abrasive it is as well. And these ropes are more durable, but also more abrasive. That's not a huge deal if you've been spinning long enough that you have calluses built up between your fingers, but if you haven't managed to get that far just yet, I'd recommend either starting with other tethers or have some athletic tape handy for when your hands get a little bit raw. These might actually be the first dedicated LED contact Poi that I've carried around regularly to use, even during the daytime. Cool. The new Orb Poi Pros are available over at ultrapoi.com. The basic set without LED handles clocks in at $114.95. If you want to add on the Ultra Knob Pro LED handles, that'll run you a total of $164.95. And if you'd like to get a discount on your set of these Orb Poi Pros, you can use my promo code DREXFACTOR with a 0 instead of an O at checkout. That gets you a discount, and it helps out the channel, so everybody wins. So yeah, overall, I'm a fan of this new generation of Orb Poi. You will absolutely be seeing them pop up in more videos, and I really enjoy spinning with them. I do wish they had better battery life, but if that's my only ask at this stage, then I think we're doing pretty well. Did you get anything out of this video? Please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to help other people find this video and to help my channel grow. This video would not be possible if not for the wonderful support of all of these amazing people right here. These are my Flow patrons over on Patreon, and they, along with the people listed down in the description, help to make this video and all the videos on my channel possible. Thank you one and all for your support. Do you like my videos? Do you like my flow sessions, vlogs, reviews, combos, and more? I'm on a mission to bring poi spinning and flow arts to the wider world and help people connect with their bodies and their brains. So help me do it. Head on over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and sign up. You can do that at the link in the description or the card that just popped up if you're watching on YouTube. There you can get access to a whole host of rewards and help me along in my mission. Do check that out, please and thank you. Do you own the new Orb Poi Pro LED Contact Poi? What do you think of them? Are you a fan of the new rope? Am I belly aching too much about the battery life because, goodness, so much brighter? Leave me a comment and let me know your thoughts. I'll include a link to a playlist of other reviews I've done down in the description, as well as up on screen if you're watching on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to get out and flow today. I'll see you with a new video on Wednesday. Peace.